Hi, Franco Cavallari coming to you today from Biologic. As opposed to a full podcast, we're going to talk about um, curcumin bio-BDMC. Curcumin bio-BDMC has been an amazing product in our technology array because of its anti-inflammatory activity, helping to reduce pain, to reduce inflammation. And the research that initialized the work we do with curcumin bio-BDMC started with me many years ago because of ulcerative colitis. And ulcerative colitis is an inflammatory disease, an autoimmune disease. And through the research I did since 1990, we've evolved this technology to be far more potent than it was originally and far more potent than any curcumin extract we've seen so far in the marketplace. What makes it so different? Here we have SSV's curcumin bio-BDMC, an amazing product. Why? Why is this so potent compared to other curcumin products in the marketplace? Here's why. So biologics research has been published in the peer-reviewed journals to disclose how and why the engineering of this technology changes the inflammatory activity and anti-inflammatory potential of this herbal agent. It's patented technology that is showcased in our peer-reviewed research. And I'm going to go through a bit of a slideshow here to elaborate on why it is so different. We have various publications in the market, in the peer-reviewed journals, that support what we are about to talk about. And you know that inflammation, the chemistry of inflammation, pretty much is a driving force for almost every disease. We know we have multiple drugs, different drugs that target inflammation in different ways and target disease symptoms in different ways. But the core chemistry that propagates the majority of diseases we deal with, including cognitive disorders and behavioral disorders, are related to inflammation. Interleukin-6 is now intimately related to depression, anxiety, and cognitive disorders. These are inflammatory cytokines. So inflammation and control of inflammation in the body plays an immense role in regulating and controlling and taking the edge off disease symptoms, including aging. So a little bit about curcumin in general. You can see that typically curcumin extracts are made up of 3 fractions of curcuminoids. And you can see the majority of the proportion that makes up these 3 fractions is made up usually of curcumin 1, D-ferrolylmethane. And you can see that right here in the slides. Let me make sure that that is, in fact, showing up. Okay. And so most curcumin extracts have very little curcumin 3, the bis-dimethoxycurcumin, in this array of curcuminoids. So we go now to curcumin BDMC50. Why is it so different? And it's different because we have 50% curcumin 3 instead of 0.2 to 2%. So it's in excess of 100 times more curcumin BDMC, bis-dimethoxycurcumin. Why is this important? And we'll show you why. Because in 2015, we made a discovery in the laboratory that shows that this curcumin 3 can inhibit MSK1. This is a specific kinase that's important to the regulation of inflammatory disease, and in particular, some autoimmune conditions. MSK1 becomes dysregulated in various autoimmune conditions. And so you can see in this slide where the bis-dimethoxycurcumin inhibits or slows down MSK1 transcription, and therefore there's less of it in the cell. And MSK1 is important because it activates the transcription or the making of cytokines that are inflammatory. And so here we see how regular curcumin slows down what's called NF-kappa B and its transcriptive activity at the gene for various cytokines, as many as 150 cytokines. But the way curcumin 3 works differently is that it inhibits a kinase, a specific protein that's responsible for activating this NF-kappa B. And therefore, the curcumin bis dimethoxy curcumin and the biocurcumin BDMC50 will inhibit two proteins. It inhibits MSK1 and NF-kappa B, two proteins, not one. Regular curcumin inhibits one protein, and it's only NF-kappa B. And so as we move on, we get to see that this bis dimethoxycurcumin in the curcumin BDMC50 has an ORAC value, an antioxidant value that's much, much higher than regular curcumin. Regular curcumin's ORAC value is somewhere around 9,500, whereas we get as high as 500,000 for the bis dimethoxycurcumin and the bio BDMC50. That's what's different. Bio BDMC50 will have an ORAC value of almost 500,000, where regular curcumin has an ORAC value, an antioxidant potential, of only 9,500 or so. Now, antioxidant activity plays a role in helping to regulate inflammation. So you have to see that there's two levels of activity here with curcumin bio BDMC, this one right here, that you don't see at all in regular curcumin extracts. One is it inhibits MSK1 and NF-kappa B activity so that inflammation is reduced, but at the same time, it reduces antioxidant. By antioxidant activity, reduces the oxidative activity that's associated with inflammation. When you reduce both oxidative activity and inflammation at the same time, you get a more profound protection against the effects of disease and oxidation again and inflammation. So the one thing to keep in mind is that oxidation and inflammation go hand in hand. As inflammation increases, oxidation increases. And therefore, to inhibit both at the same time has an exponential effect on the treatment of inflammatory disease. But at the same time, this 50, BDMC50 in here, inhibits two proteins that are involved in that inflammatory cascade. It's a very profound effect. So how important is this? When you look at this, this is called a cytokine array, interleukin-3, interleukin-2, interferon, TNF-alpha. You can see that this product performs even better than ibuprofen and aspirin in our arrays to reduce these inflammatory markers, these cytokines that are responsible for generating the inflammatory activity in the body. So it doesn't just inhibit one or two cytokines involved in inflammatory activity. It inhibits as many as 150 to slow them down at the same time and create an exponential effect that you don't see in regular curcumin. In fact, you don't see also in aspirin and ibuprofen. So the key difference that we need to focus on is here we have a BDMC50 that has 100 times more bis dimethoxycurcumin than you would see in regular curcumin. 100 times more. That in itself causes the pharmacology to change so that you inhibit two proteins, not one. Regular curcumin inhibits NF-kappa B activity. Here, with this product, we inhibit MSK1 plus NF-kappa B. More potent, targeting two proteins instead of one. And three, we have antioxidant activity that is profound and very powerful, 500,000 ORAC, instead of 9,500 you have with regular curcumin. So here we have a synergistic effect because we're reducing oxidation inflammation at the same time. And then here you see on this slide that you have up to 14 times more effectiveness in this trial with the curcumin bio BDMC50 over ibuprofen and aspirin. So very potent, very effective technology The key features, again, is ORAC value is very high, and we inhibit two proteins, MSK1 and NF-kappa B, instead of one protein that regular curcumin inhibits. And you can see this in the data in our research that's published. A very effective product that is unprecedented in the marketplace today. Thank you.